pricing going into next gen with PS5, and then we have Xbox Series X as well tied in with that. But this was from today, so we have NBA 2K21 price is $10 more expensive on Xbox Series X and PS5. So this article here is from GamesIndustry.biz. Christopher Dring writes it. NBA 2K21 will have a recommended price of $69.99 US or $64.99 UK, or sorry, in pounds, when it launches on PS5 and Xbox Series X this year. That's $10 more than the PS4 and Xbox One version, which has a recommended price $59.99 US or $59.99 also in pounds. It's the first hint that the next generation may lead to higher software prices, as development costs are expected to increase with the new machines. The Xbox One and PS4 versions are due on September 4th, with the PS5 and Xbox Series X edition set to launch alongside the new machines later this year. 2K says the more expensive versions have been built from the ground up for next generation consoles. Callum, we have talked in the past, and there was that news thing in the world last week about Sean Layden talking about how he's expecting, we can't keep the model going with like AAA charging the same price. And here we're seeing the first attempt at raising the price here for like the base model game. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I think that games should increase in price, especially AAA games. I don't think NBA 2K21 should increase in price. I don't think it should even be... I think it should be like a lower price, because the amount of money they get from microtransactions should pretty much make it a free-to-play game.
And they come out every year too, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think this is a bad game to increase the price on, for sure. I already think that these games... I mean, it's like you got these like phone, like really detailed like phone games that are free to play, and they still make millions of dollars because they've got loads of microtransactions. And the NBA games are no different. They've got an exact same like storefront, exact same kind of thing. The only difference is they're charging you $70 to have the honor of buying their microtransactions. So yeah, I don't agree with this one. I'm not saying that if a game has microtransactions it shouldn't be full price, but for a game like NBA that, I mean, we'll actually go into this in our next thing, but that is so reliant on loot boxes and sort of people gambling on, getting things. I mean, we don't basketball in the UK either, so I'm not too into NBA. I just know that it's very, it's always being sort of shot down for being predatory with its microtransactions, and I know FIFA's exactly the same, and that's another game that shouldn't be full price. But yeah, so it's sort of bittersweet. I think it's good that they're raising in price. I mean, not good for my wallet, but it's good for the industry, and it makes sense, I think, as a whole. But there are certain games where that's a bit tone deaf because of the amount of money. Like they can't use the argument, £60 isn't enough money for a AAA game, when that they make like that. That's like £60 per copy is nothing compared to what they actually make sort of per copy. From other avenues. So yeah, it's a bit of a bittersweet sort of example, I suppose, that's being used, or that's sort of being tested.
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, this is really not the game to be kind of leading the charge, because it's the one with the least amount of credibility to demand that kind of thing. You mentioned the loot boxes, or the microtransactions rather, that they have. There's been predatory stuff in the past. I feel like NBA, that whole franchise, NBA 2K, is able to like not be on the radar for that level of stuff. You hear a lot of in the past couple of years has been like Battlefront or other games that will kind of catch that attention for what they're doing. But 2K seems to be like kind of under the radar, even though that's what they're doing. You have the base model of the game that you buy, but there's still tons of microtransactions. And yeah, this one's weird. I wonder, it's also especially weird because they're charging that $10 extra for the upgraded like next gen versions, but there's so many games that have been announced already that are having free upgrades. So it's very weird for them to be going, yeah, that's cool, but we're going to charge everyone $10. But you have Cyberpunk, you have, I'm drawing a blank on all the ones, but Valhalla, I want to say, has a free update. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. All these huge, highly anticipated games are going to have that free upgrade, but NBA 2K is going to demand it. It's just like tone deaf stuff, and you can tell it's people high up going, yeah, we don't care. Just it's down to the numbers. We want to get as much money as possible. Yeah. So fuck everybody else, and it's really, you feel that as a consumer.
Yeah, they're piggybacking off the back of this sort of genuine thing that Sean Layden brought up. And I just found here from July through to September 2019, Take-Two Interactive. So this is including Borderlands, NBA 2K20, GTA Online, and Red Dead Online. But obviously, GTA Online and Red Dead Online are older. They have like a big player base, but microtransactions wise, I don't think they're as inclusive. And also, Borderlands 3 barely has. I mean, it has microtransactions, but it's not a progression sort of system in it. And so from July through to September, so what's that like? What's that? That's not even 2 months.
Yeah, 4 months
maybe.
yeah.
2, 3. Yeah. They made 317 million in just microtransactions, which is just so that's about nearly 100 million a month in microtransactions. and they're coming out saying, oh, it's just too expensive to make games nowadays, we need to charge more money, and it's just ridiculous.
Callum, they need that extra $10. How are their kids gonna eat? I mean, how are they gonna make it work?
Yeah, right. Yeah, how are their shareholders gonna make 2 billion net worth without the extra $10? Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I think, as much as I do completely agree games are too cheap, I think it's only certain games that are too cheap. I'd say like games like your Spider-Mans, your God of Wars, your Last of Us, your Uncharted, Horizon, all these AAA games, Cyberpunk. Those are the games that they should be about £70, $70-$80. Because that they're spending so much money on making those games for us. And we need to pay, an amount that will allow them to make enough of a profit to pour into their next game. But games like this that are owned by people like Take-Two are just, it's just not right at all. I mean, like I said, 317 million in microtransactions in 3 or 4 months. They could make these games free to play. Yeah. They could totally make these games free to play, 100%. But they won't.
No, as long as they can gauge that people will buy the base model and then also buy microtransactions on top of that, they'll do it. And I guess people do, because they seem to sell regardless. But I mean, you're right. We do support going into next gen, especially like the raise on a lot of these titles but it's also, there's a morality to it where it's like there's certain titles that do earn that, like with these AAA games where it's just a one-off, like Spider-Man, like God of War. It's just that model or just that base game that comes out, and that's what you buy, and it's going to be 6 years basically before the next game comes out, 5-6 years. So you do want to support that. And also, it's like when you buy those games, you get all of the content. It's all there. But with this kind of stuff, you basically get a ticket to then participate and buy the other microtransaction stuff and keep buying things, and it's predatory. It's like, how else we're gonna describe it? It's just them taking advantage of customers. Yeah. So yeah, I can't support it, and I wonder, because this stuff just dropped this morning, or afternoon for you over there. I wonder if we'll see more drama unfold or them roll their messaging back. I wonder if there's going to be a lot of anger towards them as a company for making this decision.
Yeah.